freshman perhaps in Oregon history, Riley McCoy, who set a program record with a 32nd extra base hit on Friday night, tied for the Oregon single season record with 19 home runs. Well, Oklahoma's going to have to win 3 games in 2 days to find themselves back in the Champ Series. So for the first time since regionals, somebody other than Sam Landry is the primary pitcher. Kirsten Deal, should say, did pitch game 2 of the Supers, but didn't go the distance. But she'll get a big assignment, Amanda, on this Sunday night.
Yeah, coming from the left-hand side with Kirsten Deal. She's going to rely on her curveball. She can throw it on both sides of the plate, move the ball up with her rise ball, and then change speeds with her changeup. This is a pitcher who has experience on this field, has a couple of national championships under her belt. That curveball, she'll throw it 43% of the time, and then her rise ball almost 30% of the time. She wants more up spin. That changeup's going to be important against this Ducks power and this lineup.
It's Kirsten Deal's 3rd appearance at the World Series, but it will be her first start here at Devon Park in the World Series, at least. Oklahoma 51-8, Oregon 54-9. The Sooners trying to extend their historic run. The Ducks trying to deny the dynasty. And we are underway on this first day of June with ball 1 at 6:12 local on a steamy, steamy Sunday from Kirsten Deal to Kai Lushar. The junior lefty, the senior left-handed batter, Lushar, will take a strike. That's Chad Steers with a plate today. Jim Bertuzzi at first, Aaron Peterson second, and Steve Gould is the umpire at third. We saw Oklahoma a couple of times against Ashton Maloney in Texas employ this 5-person infield shift.
Oh, they're lucky because they put Sydney Barker as their starting right fielder, and she's a shortstop coming into the program. So Sydney Barker, number 77, playing second base right now with 3 infielders over on the left side, and that means that right field is completely open, but they're anticipating Lushar put something on the left side, trying to squeeze her with her speed.
2-2 for Lushar.
And if she ends up pulling it and hitting the right field, it will be an in the park home run with her speed.
Only 5 extra base hits on the year, and she will strike out swinging. Could have been 7 in the infield. Doesn't matter. Kirsten Deal doesn't need any help.
That's a great start for Kirsten Deal. Get her curveball working, this lefty-on-lefty matchup. Very comfortable against left-handed hitters because she can spin that curveball away from them as Lushar pulls toward first base, trying to use her speed through the box, and you can see her pull toward the first base side.
Kedri Lushar, the number 2 hitter. Younger sister of Kai. Both are seniors. Kai took a redshirt year. Kedri was a second-team All-American. She's in the midst of one of the best seasons in Ducks history. 2nd in RBIs, tied for 2nd in doubles. And Kedri chases a high one from Deal, 1-1.
Yeah, if Oregon wants to have success, they need to get the top of their order on. They need to get their speed on. It just puts so much pressure on any defense that they face, even a really strong defense like Oklahoma has in the infield, notoriously strong on the infield and a high fielding percentage.
One and 2 from Deal. We saw the Ducks on Friday stave off elimination in a 6-5 win over Ole Miss. They jumped out to a 5-2 lead after 5, gave up 3 in the 7th, and then Kedri Lushar walked it off literally with a bases loaded, base on balls in the 10th. Ducks had 12 hits, 5 walks in that game. Typically good base running. 2nd most steals in the country. Can they get a base runner here? Outside for ball 2. Look, it is a vaunted Oklahoma team, Amanda. Obviously, it's a young group, but they're still Oklahoma. How does Oregon win this game, and what can they do offensively?
Offensively, they need to be able to get some people on it, take pitches like that to put pressure on Kirsten Deal and not chase and then swing at pitches over the plate like that. So offensively, put pressure on Kirsten Deal. She's facing elimination too. And if you're Oregon entering this game, you think, all right, we're the 16th seed. We're not supposed to win. Nobody's expecting us to win. So have great at bats, have patience at the plate, and make Kirsten Deal make a mistake. And then when she does, you have to be ready for it.
And a tough at-bat here. Kedri Luchar making Deal work. 3 two-strike foul balls. Riley McCoy, great power hitter, is on deck, and the designated player spot again today. For the champions of the Big Ten in their first year in that conference, the Ducks, who went 19-3 in the league, 2 wins shy of a program single-season record. They won 56 in 2014, and that is the first of 2 years Oregon's made the World Series semis. To get to the semis that year, they beat Oklahoma. 3-2 for Kedri Luchar. Is popped out of play.
It's a great at bat. 14 pitches into the inning. Kedri Luchar just seeing just about everything out of the hand of Kirsten Deal here, making her work. Especially after her sister struck out fairly quickly. I like this AB that Kedri's putting together.
It's the kind of at-bat we usually see from one of the top 2 Oklahoma hitters. Pitch number 10. That's in play to shallow center field. Abby Dayton records the long-awaited out. So here's Riley McCoy. We just saw Megan Grant, who rarely swings at the first pitch in game 1, hit a game-tying homer off Carla Pickens. Kirsten Deal ought to be careful here because Riley McCoy will swing at the first pitch. The 4th highest OPS, that's on base plus slugging, on the first pitch in Division I. And she was careful.
Multiple home runs on that first pitch, hitting over 500. I mean, numbers are crazy when you look at how aggressive Riley McCoy likes to be and the success that she has early in the count.
McCoy reached base 3 times on Friday. Walked twice, had an RBI double. 4 3-ball counts, in fact 4 full counts and a 2-0 count. Ole Miss pitchers were awfully careful with her. And McCoy chases one up and out of the zone and eventually pops out to a sliding right fielder Sydney Barker as Agbayani vacated the premises.
Sydney Barker is so athletic, and Agbayani wasn't too far behind her, but maybe she lost it, maybe Barker called it. They still come away with an out, but woo, that was a close one.
It's the highest scoring team in the nation, and nobody's been hotter on this team, and maybe nobody in the country, than Ella Parker, who got 2 home runs, including a walk-off off Carlin Pickens on Thursday. She's got the only 2 extra base hits for a little bit of a struggling Oklahoma lineup in this World Series. A major threat in the 2 spot, though, for the Sooners. They're not going to see Lindsey Grine, the All-American, at least not to start. It'll be a big moment, Amanda, for Elise Sokolsky.
Yeah, a great opportunity for Sokolsky to get her first start here at the Women's College World Series. And we haven't seen her a lot, but we know that she throws her rise ball the most out of any pitch. She can throw that pitch on multiple levels. Has really good spin. Will also work that pitch away. Besides her rise ball, she'll also mix in a drop ball that she's throwing a lot more this year. In fact, she's throwing that pitch 14% more than what she did last year. And her teammates rave about her changeup that she throws about 21% of the time. We haven't seen that a lot because we haven't seen her a lot. Can't wait to see her mix speeds against OU.
Facing Cassidy Pickering to start. The All-American takes well upstairs. Sokolsky has thrown just 29 pitches, 2 1/3 innings in the first 2 games at the World Series. But she gets the ball today against this wildly talented, very young Oklahoma lineup. And Pickering lines the ball to center field. An immediate shot of energy for the Sooners on a base hit for the All-American.
And I think OU is going to be looking up against Sokolsky. We talked about her rise ball. That's what this pitch is right here. And Pickering is ready for it about belt high, keeps her barrel above the ball. Pickering, such a good leadoff hitter to set the tone for Oklahoma. Just a sophomore that has the experience and puts together quality at bats almost every time she goes up.
First of 5 lefties in the lineup. Here's the big one, Ella Parker. A low strike one to start her. Boy, oh boy, you better be careful with Ella Parker, who's got 3 straight multi-hit games, 7 out of 11, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 7 RBIs in those 3. And that's against some serious high-octane pitching. Sweet Baby Ray's has turned into sweet and spicy Ella Parker in the Oklahoma crowd. 9 homers in her last 14. And if she takes ball too high.
I'm thinking that the sweet and spicy is how she's able to hit to all fields. I think the sweet is when she pulls the ball to the right side over the wall. The spicy is when she's able to go oppo. I don't know, just throwing some things out there.
Yeah, makes sense. Some might say oppo's sweet. That's a ground ball through the right side. That'll do just fine. Sweet or spicy, Oklahoma's got him at the corners on just 6 pitches.
And I really like the idea of Sokolsky mixing in her changeup early, and the height of this pitch is right on. But against OU, you have to find a corner. This pitch, more over the middle of the plate. That needs to be more on the outside part of the plate. You see Emma Cox reach back across her body. She gets Ella Parker to hit it off the end of her bat, and if it's a ball more off of the corner, it's a 3U. But instead, she's able to firm it up a little bit more to get it past Mayake for a hit. That's how important pitch location is against Oklahoma. They make you pay for the littlest mistakes.
And Oregon's going to take a rather early timeout here. Well, this is Sydney Romero, not Missy Lombardi, the former Oklahoma great, although you could say that about Missy as well, both of whom were national champions at OU. It's going to be the young assistant Romero, not the 7th-year head coach Lombardi.
I love it. And we have a 1st and 3rd situation right now. Sydney Romero not only was a player at Oklahoma, was on staff for a year or 2 working with Oklahoma, so she knows all their plays, wants to talk to them, her defense, about all the different possibilities that Oklahoma might run here in a 1st and 3rd, and make sure everybody is on the same page in this situation.
Tons of familiarity with these programs. Patty Gasso's long-time assistant, Missy Lombardi at Oregon. Great respect between the 2 programs. But they are competitors now. Pickering and Parker at the corners, and here's Sydney Barker. Rips the first one out of play. A little shift in the Sooner lineup. Nellie McEnroe-Marinas dropped from yesterday's number 3 spot to the 5 hole, and the freshman Barker moves into this prime position. Parker will run. Oregon will throw through. The tag's a little bit late on a strong throw by Emma Cox.
Emma Cox has a strong arm and a tremendous transfer. She's so quick, throws through to Sinicki, but it was how Sinicki caught it that she kind of got, she caught it wrong and couldn't go down quick enough. I thought that could have been an out with the throw through.
Barker pops it up on the infield, and Oregon gets the first out with the runners standing still in scoring position. Oklahoma is now just 2 for 12, no walks, 4 strikeouts with runners in scoring position in the tournament. And Patty Gasso lamented their lack of cashing in opportunities yesterday. They left 9 on base, one of their highest totals of the season. Here's a hitter who can clear him. Gabby Garcia to take ball 1.
When you look at the top of the Oklahoma order, the first 5 hitters in the lineup are freshmen and sophomores. So young at the top.
Think they're going to be any good the next few years?
I have a feeling they might be.
Garcia lines it to a diving Jones. Kaylin Jones steals at least a run.
Right place at the right time by Kaylin Jones. This is a changeup that Gabby Garcia barrels up. She's on time with it, but Kaylin Jones is in the exact right spot to be able to grab that line drive. The past 2 outs have both been on changeups. Sokolsky's going to that pitch a little bit more with runners in scoring position.
Great play by a terrific Duck defense, which was a very embattled unit. On Friday night, Oregon made 3 errors in the first 4 innings, tied a season high for a game. Still a program record 980 fielding percentage, though, and they're 1 out away from escaping this. A redshirt freshman, McEnroe Marinas, takes off the plate. Another wonderful Sooner hitter, Nellie McEnroe Marinas. It sounds even better against the rings on the hand. As always, there is a strong contingent of former Sooner greats here in the crowd, with the hardware to boot. A 4-pitch walk for McEnroe Marinas loads the bases. And Oregon is living on the edge here in the first.
This part, though, about walking Nellie is just that now your infield has a force at any base. Couple pitchers warming up for Oregon already. Double barrel action with Stacy Chambers, and looks like through the net, Lindsey Grine.
It is indeed Lindsey Grine on the right, the starter of the first 2 games. Won't be a long leash for Sokolsky today. Sydney Sanders, the only senior in the lineup for Oklahoma, finds herself thrust into the spotlight. An All-American 3 years ago at Arizona State. So some familiarity with this Duck program. Sanders does have a grand slam this year, one of her 56 career homers, 9th most among all active Division I players. 1-1 from Sokolsky. Popped her up. In foul ground, Katie Flannery ends the inning, and Oklahoma's struggles with runners in scoring position continue.
Eventually, she worked her way up to being a top assistant in the country in 2017. In 2018, the Sooners pitching staff led the nation with a 1.12 ERA, and she has her hands full facing Patty this afternoon, as Gasso is 63-3 all-time against her former assistants, and all 3 of those losses have come against Tim Walton, guys.
That's awesome, awesome stuff, Taylor, and amazing to see that hug before the game. That's a long time to be an assistant for somebody who could have gone on, Amanda, and been a great head coach, and she has become one. But it was hard for Missy Lombardi to leave Oklahoma. It took the right fit, and Oregon for her was that right fit.
And that move for going to Oregon made a lot of waves in the softball universe, as she had been there for 2 decades. And I remember when I was in high school and getting recruited, you would see the Oklahoma coaches, in particular Coach Lombardi and Coach Gasso, out. I would always get them so confused because they always looked so alike to me with their visors and their stature.
Paige Sinicki pops one up into left for the first out of the inning.
And you were just used to seeing them around the ballpark all together. I would never know, okay, which one's who's who. Like, they just have that sisterly connection even when they're not together. You think of the other one when you see the other one.
Well, here's Patty Gasso, who in her first year in a new conference was the SEC Coach of the Year, and Missy Lombardi across the way her first year in a new conference, was named the Big Ten Coach of the Year. So incredible success for these two, whatever program they've been at, whatever league they've been in. And now one of them is going to knock out the other from the World Series, but certainly there will be another embrace to come when this game is over. Kirsten Deal working against Emma Cox, who takes down and away. And here's another Oregon-Oklahoma tie. Emma Cox, who is the daughter of two former Oklahoma Sooners. Emma's father, Darren, was a baseball player at Oklahoma, was an All-American catcher, ended up getting a cup of coffee with the Montreal Expos, and mother Karen was a softball player at Oklahoma. So the connection from Norman to Eugene runs deeper than you might geographically think.
There are so many daughters of former players who were at this World Series. I was doing my prep and I felt like I kept writing one after another. And Emma Cox was one of them with that OU connection.
And she's had a really good freshman year and been an on-base machine in the tournament with 9 walks to only 1 strikeout here in the NCAA tournament. Cox is a pitch away from either a walk or a strikeout now.
I think both of these teams are still trying to figure out the strike zone early in this game as Kirsten Deal gets to the bottom of the zone with that curveball. Where Emma Cox gets a great view with catching Sokolsky in this game to see what's a ball and what's a strike.
Cox swings and misses. Deal with a couple of Ks in the first 5 batters.
I feel like Deal's ball is really spinning well tonight, and it has this upspin to everything that Oregon's going to have to work to stay above as Emma Cox swings underneath that rise ball a little bit lower in the zone. But Deal's spin looks good early in this game. She's getting Oregon to swing and miss and fly out 3 times already in this game with her rise.
And then peppers one to the bottom of the zone to Des Patman. Actually, the first pitch strike Deal has thrown in 6 batters. Patman dropped a spot in the lineup to 6th after 3 strikeouts Friday, but her one hit was a 2-run single. And Patman unloads. This is driven deep. This is the first run of the game. Another duck dinger from Des Patman. Oregon with the opening strike on Elimination Sunday.
Des Patman has been so clutch, but remember, she struck out 3 times against Ole Miss and got pinch hit for, and now she makes the absolute most of her first AB and getting a start in this game. Talked about the rise ball. She's looking for it up in the zone, gets her barrel there, connects, she is on time, and it's out of the reach of Abby Dayton in center field. Just barely at the wall. Des Patman has so much power.
After the game Friday, Missy Lombardi said our athletes are just drawn to her, to Des Patman. And Oregon's got a home run, and that is one heck of an omen. The Ducks have not lost this year. 42 for 42 when they hit a home run.
That's wild. I mean, that stat is one that you have to be like, wait, are we sure that that one's right?
And in fact, we double-checked it, we triple-checked it, and it is right. And if the Ducks are going to get to 43-0, my, oh my, what a win that would be. Des Patman with the first hit, the first base runner of the game for Oregon. Just a few minutes after Oklahoma had loaded the bases with 2 outs at 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, but it's Oregon to cross home plate first. Slapped away foul now by Kaylin Jones.
Yeah, and Kirsten Deal had gone 5 up, 5 down the first 5 hitters that she faced, with a couple of strikeouts, moving the ball around. But that's how quickly this game can change. We've seen some wackiness here at the World Series, and the games that we've seen this year can just turn on its head very quickly.
0-2 for the freshman Jones. And Oklahoma has now trailed every game of this World Series. In fact, they've trailed for most of the World Series. Trailed against Tennessee most of that game. Had the walk-off come from behind 2-out homer from Parker, and then trailed, never led against Texas, trailed most of that game too. Jones elevates the ball to left center on an 0-2 pitch. The freshman has another hit. She's now 15 for 31 here in the tournament.
Yeah, she's been a bright spot down at the bottom of the order for Oregon with her 4th hit at the World Series, as she just stays on this curveball. 0-2 pitch, way too close to the plate. Kaylin Jones just says thank you as she allows Kirsten Deal to supply the power and shoots it the other way.
Stephanie Maake. I wonder now, how long will Patty Gasso's leash be for Kirsten Deal? Ideally, she'd love to get through this game without using Sam Landry, who's thrown now 30 of the 41 2/3 innings in the tournament for Oklahoma.
And both of these coaches just choosing to give a little bit of rest to their aces, with Sam Landry at OU and then Lindsey Grine at Oregon. Just trying to see how deep into the game that their #2 pitcher can go. Just trying to play the long game too, knowing that if you're trying to win a national championship, you're going to have multiple pitchers. You cannot just throw one pitcher every day.
To make it to the championship series, a reminder, these teams will need to win 3 games in 2 days. Texas Tech, who's off today, will need to win just 1 game tomorrow.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
1-2 for Maake, freshman from Salem, Big Ten all-freshman team. Pops a ball out of play. And there you have it, 7 Eastern, 6 local, 4 Pacific. Potentially noteworthy if you're a Duck fan. Texas Tech tomorrow night on ESPN. Starting to be that twilight shadowy time, which can make it even tougher on hitters. Maake chases one high. Jones was on the run on 1-2. How aggressive do you think Oregon will be on the bases today?
I think they'll be very aggressive with their speedier players, although Kaylin Jones is there at first base, but hasn't run yet. I would be aggressive if I were them.
And is not running on this pitch. Maake takes outside. Well, we saw Texas run a little bit on Oklahoma yesterday. First and third play for a steal of home. The Sooners have struggled. They've only caught 3 runners stealing this year, and Oregon's run mad. They're not going to get a chance here as Maake strikes out. But it's Oregon with the game's first run.
Des Patman is the type of hitter who feels like she can be successful no matter what has happened before. She struck out 3 times against Ole Miss, but makes the absolute most in her first AB in this elimination game against a 4-time defending champs to get Oregon on the board first.
Homer in the 7th. She was pulled back by lefty Ramirez. The play was upheld, and Tennessee ended up walking it off anyway in the ninth. Laura Mueller, 4 walk-offs, most since at least 2000. That's 4 in 9 games, 4 one-run games, a near 4-hour game. And Texas and Texas Tech staying above the fray are the 2-0 teams. The whole world, the whole softball world has been enjoying this party, including this fan who's got all 8 teams on the party nails. What's on the thumbs, I wonder?
Maybe the World Series logo.
Maybe. Think we're gonna have an answer? Yes, we are.
Oh,
just softballs. That is outstanding work.
In that package, didn't even show the lights going out. Remember, before we even threw a first pitch, second base wouldn't fit into second base, went into the hole. I don't know what you actually call it, but.
And that was literally to start the World Series. We had a delay before Texas, Florida, because the grounds crew couldn't get second base into the ground. And then today, we all learned about our good old friend Appendix G.
Yeah.
There was an interminable review to figure out what the heck to do with that Megan Grant play, because nobody quite knew what to do. Tennessee challenged, as Elena Agbayani grounds one foul. Tennessee challenged that Megan Grant did not touch home plate, and it turns out she ended up touching it when Lefty Ramirez pulled her back. There was a long review, consultation with the NCAA. Such an important play to get right. And we ended up finding out that the play was not reviewable under Appendix G, which constitutes what plays are subject to video review. Tennessee went a little mad, as you figured they might, and it turned out they would win the game 2 innings later. But we just every day find something new and funny and hilarious and weird. And the great part about it all, man, it's all been during close, compelling games.
The games have been so good. I think I'm just going to start going to sleep and reading the rule book every night before bed. Just get about 5 pages in every night in the off season. After this ends, and when I'm done with it, just go back through it again.
You're going to start that?
I'm sorry, I'm going to do it again for the 6th or 7th time.
That's exactly what I meant to hear. 3 and 2 for Agbayani. Elena Agbayani trying to lead off a rally in the Oklahoma second. (3-2) from Elise Sokolsky, slapped to left and caught by Kai Luchar. So Elise Sokolsky pitching with a lead against Oklahoma. Got a little bit of time in the regional last year. Remember, the Ducks played pretty well against an Oklahoma team that would win the national title. They lost 6-3 and 3-2, and that was not a great Oregon team last year. They were 31 and 20. 23 more wins this year. One away, here's Isabella Emmerling.
Well, you mentioned that regional, and it was Paige Sinicki who said, I remember leaving Oklahoma and being like, there is no way that I'm going to leave college without ever hosting a regional and just trying to go as far as we can. And so that motivation from being in Norman last year and losing to Oklahoma was what Oregon needed for this year, to grab a top 16 seed, to host a regional, and then even be able to host a super regional, because Texas A&M lost in regionals. So it worked out in their favor that they got a big home field advantage to make it here in Paige Sinicki's senior year with this senior class.
Emmerling with a high drive to deep left field. That will tie the game. Isabella Emmerling has her World Series moment. Her first home run of the postseason puts Oklahoma on the board.
Sokolsky kind of touched her chest and said, that's my bad. And it is, because look at where this pitch location is. Emma Cox is set up on the outside corner. This has rise ball spin, but it moves right into Emmerling's swing. Just unloads on the inner half. It's about knee height with that rise ball spin, but Emma Cox wanted that pitch outside. It is inside, well over the plate, as Emma Cox was set up in the left-handed batter's box, wanting that about a ball off. Not a great pitch location, as we've seen Sokolsky struggle with command early in this game.
That's a really big swing for Emmerling, who in SEC play this year was just 9 for 55, hitting 164. Missy Lombardi's going to come out and chat with Sokolsky. Say this, though, with Emmerling, 28 hits on the year. She doesn't get a lot, but she makes them count. That's her 12th home run, 16th extra base hit out of those 28.
And Bella Emmerling has so much power. Look at her stay in her legs, her extension toward the left side of the field. And this is Sokolsky looking at her teammates saying, that's my bad. And it's a missed pitch. You can feel it out of your hand, moved right into her swing. Bella Emmerling has so much power. We saw it last year when she was at North Carolina, too.
Home run ball to the family. Somebody's going to get this Bella bomb. So a 1-1 game. And the Emmerling family could celebrate their first World Series home run. Just the 3rd extra base hit for Oklahoma here at the World Series. Abby Dayton, number 9 hitter, shows bunt and takes low.
How nice is it to have a 12 home run hitter in the 8th spot if you're Oklahoma? Just so much power all throughout. One of the best home run hitting teams in D1.
Dayton over to first and mock it. Out number 2. Oh, this is such a deep, powerful lineup for Oklahoma, which has scored 51% of its runs via homer, the 2nd best rate in Division I. And they've got the 2nd most homers total, 118, only behind Ohio State. 2 down. Here's Cassidy Pickering. She's got 18 of them and unloads on strike 1.
Well, it's no surprise, too, Kevin, that there's only been 5 games this season that OU did not hit a home run in. Majority of their game, you show up to the ballpark, you're going to see a long ball off their bats.
Now 55 out of 60. Right in there to Pickering, 0-2. In fact, yesterday was just the 2nd game Oklahoma did not have an extra base hit this year.
Sokolsky has really good stuff. I just feel like she's missing just a little bit at times.
You know we love our Something's Gotta Give graphics here at the World Series. Oklahoma win Isabella Emmerling down at the bottom of the order homers, 10-0. Oregon win anybody homers, 42-0. Right side, Jones, another great defensive play, but she couldn't get the ball out of her glove in time. It's a 2-for-2 start for Cassidy Pickering.
And so Kaylin Jones playing just a shade up the middle of the field, and because she's playing a couple of steps more towards second base, this is going to be a rangy play for her, and they just can't get the ball out of her glove. I think still she was able to get to that ball, had a chance to get her out, but couldn't make the transfer.
So that extends the inning for Ella Parker, who's ripping at the first pitch. A ground ball single her first time. Off speed strike from Sokolsky here. "12 for 25 tournament for the All-American Ella Parker. 6 extra base hits. Got off to a great start, then really slowed in SEC play, but she has come on like a house on fire in the last month or so. Parker pops it out of play. And she's done this all, Amanda, with a pretty serious lower leg injury that's caused her to wear a boot at times in the dugout before games. But she's been able to play through the pain. And not only play, but play maybe the best softball of her life.
And even as a sophomore, she is like a professional hitter. She can take a walk. She has the speed, even as she's battling that lower leg injury, as you mentioned. And I think she's just gotten comfortable with playing through the pain, because that's what Patty Gasso said. So as the season has gone on, she's just learned to deal with it. Even in between her at-bats, she puts a boot back on.
Elise Sokolsky trying to work through a second inning where she's already allowed a run. And Lindsey Grine is ready and waiting if her numbers to be called out of that Oregon bullpen. Watching from behind the fence, hoping Ella Parker won't hit one over the fence. And Parker rips it to right instead. It's in play, but it's another hit. Parker and Pickering are 2 for 2, and once again, they're at the corners.
Ella Parker in this at-bat did such a good job of fouling off down to where Sokolsky only had one option to try to go up with her rise ball, and Ella Parker just gets there with her barrel, line drive out to the right side of the field. Good piece of two-strike hitting. She battled in that at-bat to get Sokolsky to throw something else. Parker was a little hesitant with something down. She goes to the rise ball and gets Pickering all the way to third base.
She already has a steal in the game in a first and third situation. So from Parker to Barker, the freshman Sydney Barker takes a strike. 8 out of 12 first pitch strikes for Sokolsky, who does not have a strikeout. Is trying to get through 2 jams with only 1 run allowed. Left the bases loaded in the first. Always count on Oklahoma in these scenarios over the years, but they're 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position here in the World Series. Good swing by Barker, but it's 1-2. Sydney Barker very strong with runners in scoring position this year. About 70 points ahead of her regular average. She takes a changeup for ball 2.
I don't know where this missed. Maybe a little bit inside. We'll see where Cox frames this pitch. Number 2, Barker's in the back of the box, and that, or actually now she's in the middle of the box, but that looked like a good height of a pitch, maybe a little too far inside.
Throws it again and gets the third strike call to strand a pair. Patty Gasso left shaking her head, but her team does get on the board with the 118th homer of this Oklahoma season.
And Bella Emmerling showing off her power all the way down in the 8th spot. This Oklahoma team knows how to respond on this field.
Who've led Oklahoma to titles, and we didn't even get G. Juarez or Paige Lowry in there. Kirsten Deal is not the ace of this team, Amanda, but she's going to need to play a big role, or maybe another lefty, Audrey Lowry, if Oklahoma's going to bounce out of the loser side of the bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. They can't just rely on Sam Landry if Oklahoma wants to have a chance at a 5P, which is what they're going for. Kirsten Deal is going to play a huge part.
And Katie Flannery knocks her first pitch through the left side, so Oregon, after starting 0 for 5, is now 3 for its last 4.
Yeah, and one more to add to that list is Jill Most, back in the 90s, was really the first ace of the Oklahoma pitching staff, and Missy Lombardi played with her and caught her. So another one to add to the list, along with Cammie Kiter, Michelle Gascoigne. The list goes on and on and on. And of course, Missy Lombardi coached a lot of those lefties at OU.
Sydney Barker comes back in from right against Kylu Shar. Sooners go with the 5-woman infield again as they shift Agbayani to the left of second. And they just totally vacate right. Pickering and Dayton are in their normal spots.
And of course, trying to work her on the outside corner to hit into the shift. You don't want to throw her in and have her pull it and get past Sydney Sanders, who's at first base.
Kylu Shar, 63 infield hits. Had 3 of them on Friday night, second most in the country.
The amount of time we waste for
Only Reagan Shockey of Arizona more infield hits on the year. And Lushar. Began her career at Arizona State, but she never actually played. Went there for a semester. And then she told us that when she got in the portal, she knew she wanted to go somewhere to play with her sisters. She and Kedri are here together. Into the shallow left. That ball will not be caught. Pickering couldn't handle it then after the ball hit the ground. She had a shot at Flannery had she grabbed it cleanly, but the Ducks have 2 aboard.
Right off the bat, I thought this was going to fall, and then I saw the read from Pickering. I was like, oh, she's going to get there, and she did, but she just can't hold on to it. Goes underneath her body. She still had a chance and an opportunity for an out at second base, but because it's behind her, it was tricky for her to find and recover. And now Oregon has 2 on and a missed opportunity for an out there with Pickering, as it was right there on her glove.
Right in those left field shadows, Kylu Shar drops in her 17th hit in 35 at-bats in the NCAA tournament. And Oregon, which pinch runs liberally, will bring in a runner at second. Well, that's 4 for the last 5 for the Ducks. We'll bring Reagan Legg, best named pinch runner in America, on the run for Flannery. Kedri Lushar. 2 on, nobody out. Oregon is not going to play small ball here. They will let a batter with 29 extra base hits swing away. No team in the country has a better batting average with runners in scoring position than Oregon's .391, and they're 7 for 17 with 2 walks here at the World Series. Lushar, a little blooper left side, that's caught, and it is a double play. Great catch by Garcia, and then a snow cone by Agbayani.
It looked like another one was going to fall on the left side, but Gabby Garcia got such a good read and stretch, and then the throw picked by Ilana Agbayani, who's a Gold Glove second baseman. His leg dove in and said she was off the bag as she motioned toward the Oregon dugout. Did she get her foot back in time?
Oregon will challenge it. Well, first Missy Lombardi is talking to the umpires, and if they don't reverse their on-field call, it appears then she'll call for a challenge.
To me, like, she got her cleat back in time, but I also want to see a couple of different angles.
The call on the field is out at second base. Oregon is challenging.
Now you're going to get your wish. Christy Cornwell, our rules analyst, could chime in here. Christy, what'd you see on this play?
Well, what they're going to be looking at is whether or not the fielder held her position on the bag. In my opinion, I think she got back in there, so I think the out should stand.
And you can see it's that left cleat. Great pick, too, to get possession of this ball right in the heel of the glove from Agbayani, who was the Rawlings Gold Glove winner for collegiate second baseman.
Think of this position that she's putting herself in, reaching across her body, worried about her foot. She's stabilized on her right hand. She's trying to keep the ball from moving in the heel of her glove, and yet she still gets her heel back on second base.
The call on the field is upheld. The runner is out. Oregon's first challenge.
The athleticism on the field for OU and how quick they are is something that has stuck out to me all year long. So many new faces on the infield, yet the level of play on their infield and level of play with their defense still remains at such a high level. The Gabby Garcia reach to rob a hit, and then Agbayani helping out her shortstop with the throw to turn that into a double play was just pure athleticism.
Gabby Garcia is just going to be the next in a line of great shortstops, great infielders at Oklahoma. Only 3 errors on the year.
And I think that's a prime example of maybe why you go to the short game there, because Kedri Lushar pops it up, and yes, she has all these extra base hits, and maybe you don't just want to play for one run, but you risk that putting the ball in the air and turning into a double play.
Well, that's going to be the end for Kirsten Deal. 50 pitches in. Patty Gasso will turn to her ace, will turn to her All-American in the circle. It is Sam Landry time when we come back to OKC.
We have seen her a lot in the Women's College World Series. A transfer from Louisiana, playing her final year here at OU. She has electric stuff. Her drop ball like that is her most used pitch. Her changeup is her favorite pitch. She'll also work in her rise ball up in the zone and spin a curveball that gets great break into lefties and away from righties. She has great spin, strong velocity, 69, 70 miles an hour, and that drop ball is a much improved pitch from her time at Louisiana, and has become her most used pitch.
Well, she went the distance yesterday, and certainly Patty Gasso would have preferred not to use Landry today, knowing that if Oklahoma wins, they've still got to play 2 tomorrow. But Oregon was 4 for its last 6. Huge hitter coming up. She felt like this was the time to do it, clearly. And it's Landry against a fellow All-American in Riley McCoy. And it's a pitch timer violation against Landry.
So you can't have your hands together for more than 5 seconds.
Okay, we hear from Chad Steers right there. We just told her you can't have your hands together for more than 5 seconds. So it's not a timer violation. It's a violation because Sam Landry had her hands together, not a violation of the clock. But we heard from Chad Steers, and Patty Gasso will talk it over with him.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that called before. And you can tell that Sam Landry is very frustrated with that call, too.
That's probably an Appendix H.
Yeah, exactly.
So 2-1 to McCoy.
I think that's just going to make her a little bit mad and make her pitches a little bit more nasty in this inning.
Boy, I'd be a little worried if I was Riley McCoy with that look. The glare through the glasses. McCoy started to swing. Lushar's on the run. It was not a foul ball. It was a swing and miss. So Kai Lushar just stole her 60th base on strike 2.
Went to her changeup, back-to-back pitches in Oregon, knowing that she wants to throw a lot of changeups and testing the arm of Emerling. Going to go with the wheels into second base.
2-2 is up and in. Kai Lushar Big Ten record 60 steals. She's just become the 15th player in Division I history with a 60 steal season.
Wow.
And she's at second for McCoy, who takes ball 4 to put 2 Ducks aboard again. Isabella Emmerling out to the circle to talk with her new pitcher, Sam Landry. And there are indeed a couple of ducks on the pond for Paige Sinicki. Sinicki has been the heartbeat of this Oregon team and one of the heartbeats of this program for 4 years running. And she's probably one of the shortest cleanup hitters in the country, listed 5'2". Don't let that fool you. She is 11 for 28 with 7 extra base hits and 7 walks in the tournament. By the way, she hasn't struck out. That's a 7-0 walk to strikeout ratio in the NCAA tournament. Landry's got her in a 1-2 hole here.
And Sam Landry loves to go to that changeup as much as she can. She told me that is her favorite pitch to throw. Has a ton of confidence in her changeup.
Strikes out for the first time in the postseason. Sam Landry escapes a jam.
And the thing about her changeup is that she can throw it through the zone and she can get you to chase it well out of the zone. Goes to it multiple times. Runner in scoring position, goes at the cleanup hitter with her best stuff, her best changeup. Gets Sinicki out, and Sam Landry enters this game.
Every second of it, a leader on this team, and certainly one of the people greeting her at home plate.
Yeah, Parker 2 for 2 today, but it's the big blow, Taylor, from Emmerling that tied the game. And now, after Sam Landry entered in the top of the third, Oregon's All-American pitcher is in for the bottom.
We see you at your ace, and we will bring in our ace to enter this game with Lindsey Grine and her electric personality, this fierce personality and energy that she brings into the circle in relief of Elise Sokolsky, who worked through the first 2 innings. Now Grine will take over.
Worked to rattle out of traffic. 2 innings, 5 hits, a walk, a strikeout, only the 1 earned run. So middle of the order, Gabby Garcia takes high from Grine. Lindsey Grine's 24th relief appearance of the year. And her 53rd appearance, period, the most in the nation. Garcia out of play for strike 1. Career high 9 1/3 innings for Grine on Friday night. And she faces a powerful part of the lineup here with Garcia, one of the leading home run hitters in the SEC. Garcia, McEnroe, Marinas, and Sanders against the 30-2 right-hander. He drops in an off-speed strike 2.
It's a great pitch with that changeup. This Lindsey Grine will mostly be up in the zone with her rise ball, and you have to be very careful with that rise ball. It's a high-risk, high-reward pitch. Can get a lot of swings and misses, but it's also the pitch that can get hit out of the ballpark the easiest.
And she strikes out Gabby Garcia to begin her day.
And she'll work her rise ball on multiple different levels, all the way from the knees to the eyeball. She can throw it on both sides of the plate, has a lot of confidence in throwing an outside rise ball, even to right-handed hitters. And then we'll mix in her changeup. It can dive down. She'll throw that pitch through the zone as well. Those 2 pitches go hand in hand to give these hitters a different look as they try to settle in on her rise ball. And prime example there that just struck Gabby Garcia out.
232nd strikeout of the year. Lindsey Grine, the second most strikeouts in the Big Ten, 13th Division I into today, and that rise ball, Amanda, is typically the one.
And many of those strikeouts coming off of her rise ball that she'll throw almost 70% of the time. And look at how opponents entering this tournament hitting 176 off of her rise.
Ellie McEnroe-Marinas walked on 4 pitches her first time. Cox wants time. Where's the C on her jersey? Is just a redshirt freshman. McEnroe-Marinas learned from several of the great Oklahoma players of the last 4 years. Her freshman year, their senior year.
Always cause everybody to smile when you throw one well over your catcher's head, who stands at about 6 feet tall already and still can't reach it. Woo, right into your living room.
I think that one's going to be on the next re-tease. You're right there, Sax. So Lindsey Grine has now hit one of our fearless camera operators, and she's hit a clump of dirt. What can't she do?
Well, we're only in the third. You're going to have to see what happens. Can't wait.
She is having a ball out there right now, too. 1-2 for Oklahoma's 5-hitter. Down and away. Two-2 pitch. Through the left side, McEnroe-Marinas reaches for the second time. But who has better aim than Lindsey Grine? This was 2 nights ago. That was a clump of dirt off of her cleat. I think the pitch was a strike, by the way.
Yes, it was. And then got dirt into Emma Cox's eyes, and we were all very confused because we didn't know this right when the pitch happened of why Emma Cox was going down. Then we had these amazing replays by our amazing crew and able to see it, and that pitch since has gone viral.
The greatest pitch into dirt at the greatest show on dirt. And Brian Sax thankfully protected by a screen and a netting. I'm sure that gave you a jolt, though, didn't it? We have as good of a camera crew as you're going to find anywhere at this event. They are the real stars. There are stars on the field, and then we've got stars all over the field. We're here for these double header days that feel like triple header days sometimes, and these quadruple header days that feel like quintuple header days. So thanks to everybody with our crew who's put in so many long hours. It is a genuine labor of love for all of us to bring you this World Series now in its 43rd year. And this is not a scene that many folks who were watching 42 years ago could have imagined. This gorgeous stadium with a second deck. Not many empty seats tonight. Strike one to Sid Sanders.
When Oklahoma won their first national championship in 2000, that area down the left field line wasn't seats. It was just a berm to just go and lay a blanket out on, have a picnic, sit and enjoy. And now it is a double decker where you can take a seat all down the line and all around the field.
Yeah, it was fun to see Patty Gasso reliving that video posted on the NCAA softball Instagram. You could see Patty's real wry, dry sense of humor on that. She was talking about the shorts and kept telling herself to stop chewing gum 25 years later. But there were fans packing the berm for the first of now 8 OU titles. Well, Lindsey Grine is thrown in relief. She's done now twice in the tournament. Did a couple of times down the stretch as well. She struggled out of the bullpen the last 3 outings. 10 earned runs and 7 innings in relief. Oregon needs 5 out of her in all likelihood tonight. That's upstairs, 3-2 for Sid Sanders.
And Sydney Sanders has such a good eye. That's a pitch that Lindsey Grine is used to seeing hitters swing at, but Sid Sanders just didn't even really flinch on it. So it started at a certain level and knew that that pitch was going to continue to rise out of the zone.
Sanders drills this ball deep left field and gone. Patience leads to power for Sydney Sanders. 3-1 Oklahoma.
So the pitch before the home run was the rise ball that Lindsey Grine wanted Sid Sanders to swing at. She takes it to get to that pitch, the changeup over the heart of the plate, and it is a mistake, and she just does not miss. Sid Sanders on time for a slower speed at 58 miles an hour, and everything came down to taking the rise ball to get to that pitch so that Grine would make a mistake and Sid Sanders would hit it out of this ballpark and break up the tie.
57th career home run for Sydney Sanders, who was a first-team All-American as a freshman at Arizona State, hit 21 that year, and is the only senior in this lineup. She can go through some really dry spells, but 2 things keep Sanders' bat in the lineup and keep her a fearsome presence. Her great eye, 43 walks to only 21 strikeouts. And her great power, and that power has put Oklahoma in the lead for the first time tonight. 1-2 for Elena Agbayani. And yet another tough start to a relief outing for Lindsey Grine.
It never ceases to amaze me how Oklahoma, these past 4 years in particular, and this 5th coming into this year, just always seem to have each other's back. Gabby Garcia starts out this inning by striking out. Nellie McEnroe-Marinas comes up with a 2-strike hit, and then another 2-strike home run by Sanders. And the same thing happened in left field when Cassidy Pickering didn't catch that ball.
The Sanders family gets a home run ball with a well-made sign to boot. 3-2.
Beautiful swing by Sydney Sanders, who has had power all throughout her 4 years. Sitting back on a changeup that was left up in the zone.
Center field from Agbayani for the second out. Sid Sanders' first RBIs of the NCAA tournament. Had been just 2 for 15 with 4 walks since the start of regional play. Here's Oklahoma's first home run hitter, Isabella Emmerling. First 3 years North Carolina, medical redshirt as a true freshman. Big swing there from Emmerling, who had 14 homers a season ago, another dozen this year. She's had big home runs all season.
Some big hacks on that rise ball that Lindsey Grine's going right up and down her hands.
1-2. That will reach the net. Emmerling introduced herself to Oklahoma fans with a game-winning grand slam at San Diego State, just her second day as a Sooner. 2 home runs in their SEC opener against South Carolina. Go-ahead 3-run homer in the 5th inning of a Mississippi State win. And a World Series home run to add to that, and a memorable first year with OU. Ready for his 6th pitch here, which is low. Three straight full counts. And Lindsey Grind's about to throw a 30th pitch in her first inning of the game. And there will be a 31st.
Feels like forever ago that Gabby Garcia struck out to lead off this inning. Like Lindsey Grind had the momentum, and then here comes Nelly with a 2-strike hit to get on. This Oklahoma team just makes you battle. They have such a good eye, so many pitches that they see at the plate.
Chop to third, skips away from Flannery. Bouchard retrieved it quickly to hold Emmerling to a single, but Isabella Emmerling with a 1-for-9 start to the tournament has got 2 for 2.
And OU is forcing Grind to go to her changeup more. This is a changeup hit hard into the ground, and Flannery can't handle it with the backhand. Tough play for Flannery, and playing well back behind the bag. Got an in-between hop and just can't make the play.
Well,
Third time OU reaches.
Sorry, Amanda, she's not currently 2 for 2 because that scored an error on Flannery.
I think that should have been a hit.
Yeah, having not been a softball third baseman myself, I think that's a pretty tough one to make.
It's a tough one.
It's a long throw, even if you pick it.
Yeah, it's true.
So we'll put it in pencil for now. 1-1 to Abby Dayton. Would be just the 3rd error of the year for Flannery, who's an excellent third baseman. Does open the inning for Dayton.
And Dayton came in to college as a slapper. Remember, she started out her career at Utah, and she started swinging away and hitting more when she was a freshman with DJ Gasso, who was a head coach at Utah, which is Patty's other son, who's now currently at Arkansas as the hitting coach there.
In fact, Abby was in the World Series with Utah 2 years ago. One of the surprise entrants of the last few World Series. That Utah team was a 15 seed, caught a bit of a break, just like this Oregon team did when they had a top 2 seed knocked out. UCLA lost in regionals, and Utah hosted San Diego State, won it. And they got to join the World Series fun 2 years ago.
I had a chance to ask her too what it's like to work with JT, and she just raves about working with him. It was the OU hitting coach and Patty's other son, one of the best hitting coaches in the country, and she said he will say just one small tiny thing and then boom, you'll hit a home run. He likes to use more film, and let's see how this pitcher is throwing, and more data-based. They watch a ton of film together, Abby Dayton, along with the rest of the Oklahoma hitters with him, and kind of like a classroom setting. They study pitchers and just talk hitting and approach.
And as you all could just see, he's still teaching. He's coaching pitch to pitch. 7th pitch here. Oh, it hits her. Look at her. Hitting the helmet, no big deal. She pops up with a smile on her face and her hands in the air. Patty will check on her. Hopefully Abby Dayton is okay. She certainly seems like she is.
She has so much energy, Abby Dayton does. Oh, she took that like a champ, and Patty's still checking on her. She'll go back to first base.
Oh, these kids. I haven't seen the full Michael Jordan tongue out celebration on a hit to the helmet before. Add another one to the list of firsts here at the World Series.
You know, I will say this feels like a big blow to Oregon right now. Elise Sikulski gets to start. You bring in your ace in the third inning, and you start out with a strikeout, trying to take the momentum in a tie game. And right now, Oregon cannot get out of this inning with their ace, who they brought in. So a bit of a slow start, and they thought that it would be a quick inning, try to go at these hitters. First time that they're seeing her, and they're seeing her well, and she's struggling with her command a bit. Remember, hit by pitch in the helmet. There was one that almost hit Brian Sachs, our camera guy. So struggling with command here early.
She's hit 4 batters in the NCAA tournament and 15 on the year. Grind can be dominant. She can also spray the ball. And again, she came in this inning. That 38 number on the pitch counter, that's all here in the third to just 6 batters. Now the first team All-American Pickering. First pitch swinging in the air, foul ground, and playable for Luchar. Oklahoma, though, is back in front. 39 pitch inning. This was the most impactful of the 39. Sid Sanders, among the nation's active home run leaders, has another big fly in Oklahoma City.
Up and pass the bat. How much fun are you having playing against your former team?
I love it. I love it. This is what it's all about.
Thank you, Coach. Guys.
Taylor, thank you. 3-1 lead for Oklahoma. Missy Lombardi's longtime team against her new team. She's trying to take the Ducks to the World Series semis for just the 3rd time. And there's an Oklahoma tie-in both of those times. 2014, they beat Oklahoma to get to the semis. 2017, they lost to Oklahoma in the semis. And back here for the first time since 2018. After winning the Big Ten in their first year. Oregon has won 4 elimination games to get here. Had to win 3 in a row in the regional round. And then had to win on Friday night against Ole Miss in 10 innings to keep their season going. Emma Cox, the 5-hitter. Not a big fan of the first strike call. The second one is right in there from Sam Landry.
Sam Landry is just so tough because she throws up, down, in, and out, all with really great command, velocity, and spin. True rise ball spin, that drop ball she's been throwing more this year than what she did at Louisiana. She can come hard in with her screwball and then spin the ball away with from a right-handed hitter with her curve. Coach Lombardi and Lindsey Grind talking, going over hitter by hitter, pitch by pitch, probably saying this is how this pitch felt. This is what I was thinking in this situation. I thought this was going to be a strike. Just mulling over that last inning. They have 39 pitches to go over. That was a long one.
Changeup strikes out Emma Cox. Back-to-back Ks in relief for Landry.
That changeup has always been a great pitch for Landry, but what has made it more effective even this year is the fact that she is throwing her drop ball more so that she tunnels those 2 pitches. And as a hitter, you don't know if that pitch is coming out of her hand at 70 or 58 because it comes out of the same tunnel and it's completely different speeds with same down movement. Again, she's throwing that pitch a lot tonight.
working for the 7th time in the NCAA tournament and the first in relief. Des Patman, the home run hitter from the second, bunts, and Patman is out.
And Sam Landry fields her position very well. She can get to a lot. She's aggressive at bunts, aggressive with ground balls. She has a lot of confidence in fielding her position. She sees this bunt, and as a pitcher, you see the hitter bunt. You almost get to start your forward motion before you even let go of the pitch, anticipating one coming at you. She is on it, bare hands it. No movement with her feet to just make the perfect throw. Sam Landry is so good at fielding her position.
In fact, she was the all-defensive team pitcher in the SEC. The most assists among pitchers in the SEC. And she's got 2 outs now for Kaylin Jones. Hey, she's a tough pitcher to take deep with all of her down movement. Just 19 home runs allowed this year and 181 2/3 innings. Hard to take deep, hard to bunt on. That combination partly why Sam Landry was a second-team All-American in her first year after transferring from Louisiana. Chopped to the left side by Jones, and she's safe ahead of the throw from Garcia. 2 more hits for Kaylin Jones, who has been a star in the making this postseason.
She has such great barrel control and is able to get on top of this pitch, drive it into the ground, and put Gabby Garcia deep into the hole. I mean, the athleticism of Gabby Garcia is incredible. The way that she's able to throw on the run and make this play even kind of close at first base. She can cover so much ground and a great stretch and pick from Sid Sanders at first base.
So here's Mahake, the tying run, and she very nearly tied it. Just a little bit under it. Ella Parker's going to lead off for Oklahoma. Already with 2 hits today, already with 2 home runs at this World Series. Oklahoma trying to roll into the semis.
Medications in the math quiz. Some allergy medications can make your kids drowsy.
1, 2, 3.
But Allegra is different.
The bottom of the 4th here in Oklahoma City, joined now by Oklahoma head coach Patty Gasso. What was the plan with Sam Landry coming into this game?
I started to turn the lineup over, and we wanted that righty-righty matchup. KD did a good job against their lefties, and then just thought it's the right time. And KD can still come back in, so I think we're in the right spot.
We saw Ella Parker gather up her team. What was she saying, and what does she mean to this group?
I don't know. They don't let me in that circle, so I trust what they're. But she's a professional hitter. I mean, she's one of the best, cleanest, calculated hitters I've ever seen. So I trust her, and I trust what she's saying.
Thank you, Coach. Guys?
That is high praise from a coach who's seen as many clean, calculated hitters as anybody in college over the last 3 decades. And remember, Ella Parker started the World Series with 2 homers, including the first come-from-behind walk-off home run for Oklahoma at the World Series.
Off of Carlin Pickens, back-to-back SEC Pitcher of the Year. Ella Parker just continues to stay so hot.
How about these back-to-back seasons? Gaudy numbers, average and power for Parker. Facing Lindsey Grind for the first time. Impressive just to play through pain. But as a hitter, what stands out to you? What impresses you about Ella Parker's swing?
She's just always so balanced in her approach, so it gives her the opportunity to hit both sides of the plate and up and down. Her takes are really balanced. You can always tell that she's just stacked, not moving around a lot. Has a great eye at the plate and the power to go along with it.
You could see the number 5 on her back. She told the NCAA softball Instagram, folks. Another video posted there this week. She wears number 5 for Corey Seager, who is her favorite Dodger. Two-time World Series champion and a World Series MVP back in 2020.
Kevin, in the offseason in LA, she works out with some Major League Baseball players. She's the only softball player there. I was talking to Pico Armstrong, who is one of them, and he said she's as good as anybody there. So much respect from even the guys in Major League Baseball.
That's really cool. And the baseball bloodlines run deep. Obviously, her uncle Dave Roberts, Dodger manager. And she takes outside for ball 2.
Just letting the pitches travel deep, too. You could tell she was in go mode with 2 strikes, but recognized late that that pitch was going to be out of the zone and able to take it and keep her barrel back. That's why she's such a good hitter with 2 strikes, too.
To the right side, Jones makes the play. Hey, the Women's College World Series Finals begin in 3 days. Wednesday night, 8 Eastern, 7 local ESPN. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. We're going to find out tomorrow who will be in that championship series. The favorites are the 2 Texan teams in the field. Texas, the 6 seed, Texas Tech, the 12. They are the 2 2-0 teams. They only need 1 win. Tennessee will need to beat Texas twice. The Lady Vols and the Longhorns both looking for their first title. And then the winner of this game will need to beat Texas Tech twice tomorrow night. By the way, the lowest seed ever to win the national title since seeding began 2005 was a 10. That was Oklahoma. So you got a 12 that's a game away. You've got a 16 in Oregon that's still in the mix. Tennessee is a 7, would be the 2nd lowest seed ever. And it's been a strange postseason with the overall #1 Texas A&M being knocked out in the regionals. The 3 seed Florida was 2-out here at the World Series, so Oklahoma's the top seed remaining. Strike 3 to Sydney Barker. There's the 2nd K for Grind.
And Lindsey Grind looking for a shorter inning here to follow up the 39 pitches that she threw last inning, and that rise ball is exactly what Lindsey Grind can do to these right-handed hitters. Eat them up and in on their hands. Nice job by Emma Cox to come away with that one. Foul tip right into her glove.
2 down. Here's Gabby Garcia.
Liking the response from Lindsey Grind after that long inning. Especially they got somebody on offensively with Kaylin Jones last inning, and then a well-struck ball by Mayake. Just trying to find some momentum here, just down by 2 runs. And after that long inning, it felt like Oklahoma was up by 3 or 4 runs, but that can change with a quick inning here.
Fired up after strike 2. Lindsey Grind just whipped the ball into her glove. It's getting her swagger back in the circle.
She does look so mean with this alter ego that she steps onto the field and into the circle with. A lot of energy. You could tell she just gives her all to all of her teammates, to every pitch, nonstop, all the time. And she's talked about it, that alter ego, that she flips a switch when she steps into the circle, and it is just competitive game time to bow up and go and compete against hitters.
She wanted that ball 1. face of one of the nation's best, fiercest pitchers. Almost had Garcia.
And heard Coach Lombardi talk about what she was talking about with Lindsey Grind, is working, trying to figure out the zone, maybe working with a little bit smaller of a zone through that changeup, and wanted that pitch to be called. Continuing just to look eye to eye with Emma Cox and really feel her catcher to work through this tight zone.
144 pitches on Friday night. Missy Lombardi was asked about Lindsey Grind after the game Friday. I guess technically she was asked Saturday morning. The game finished so late. She said there was no way she was coming out of the game. A straight up competitor, and she said it all starts in the weight room at Oregon, and the reason why Lindsey was able to finish that game is because of what she's done in the weight room. Career high 9 1/3 innings. Started the game, re-entered on Friday. And Garcia drills one to left center, and Grind with a nice bounce back. 1-2-3. That's Kedri Luchar, who will be due up third after her sister. The Luchar sisters hoping these will not be the last 3 innings of their Oregon career. The winner will move on into the World Series semis. Oregon hasn't been there in 8 years. Oklahoma hasn't not been there, double negative, since 2015. They've won the title 4 years in a row, the longest championship streak in Division I softball, and they're trying to keep the drive for 5 alive. 3-1 in the 5th as Sam Landry gets the bottom of the order with Katie Flannery. Then the top of the Luchar sisters, Kai and Kedri. Inside strike, 0-2.
No ball, 2 strikes.
Flannery, one of 5 Oregon hits today. Only 1 against Landry in an inning and a third of relief. And this still jam pop-up is caught by Sanders. So could be potentially the last go-round for Kai and Kedri Luchar, the senior sisters from Carson City, Nevada. 16 months apart, Kai and Kedri, who were in different age groups growing up in softball, but they did everything together as kids, including riding bikes through the mud ball fights, they told us, and lived a life often out of a trailer because their parents were members of the rodeo. Their mom and their dad participated in calf roping and barrels and ribbon running. And Kai and Kedri even did a little junior rodeo growing up. There they are, getting ready maybe to run around the barrels or do some stick horse rodeo. Really cool childhood. 2 kids who just love to compete, love to run around, and now they get to run around on this Oregon team that runs as much as anybody. And Kai got a special milestone last inning, her 60th steal. She became the 15th player in Division I history to steal 60. And the parents are here. Judy and Steve, mom and dad, to watch their daughters who have represented this program so brilliantly.
And Steve used to hit the fly balls in the riding arena and also in the backyard too, but the riding arena was way more unique than just in the backyard. Traveling all over with their parents, eventually deciding to get a little bit more serious about travel softball.
Oklahoma plays 5 in the infield again.
Yep.
So there's Pickering. She's still in left. You got Pickering and Dayton out there. They've got 2 outfielders.
Yeah, now Hannah Core is in center field. So we were seeing Sydney Barker on the infield. Now it's Dayton.
Yeah, so Core is in the game instead. And they like her as a late game defensive replacement in center. So Dayton right now is basically the second baseman. Agbayani, the second baseman, on the left of second.
Sam Landry really likes to work the outside corner, both with her drop ball and her screwball, going up against these left-handed hitters. And for that screwball that she'll throw, she has a tendency to step really far left, almost toward first base.
We were showing you Steve Luchar, and he tells a great story about how one summer they got back to their house and the girls were asking, "We want to go home." They thought the trailer was home, the trailer they spent all the time in when they would be on the road for rodeo. It speaks to just how much time they spent there, but they just competed in everything no matter where they were. They would get 5 cents if they made an out. They would throw into the bucket $1. So you can tell why these girls were raised to play softball, just the competitive nature.
Yeah, they said they asked for a trampoline if they could run up a hill in under 2 minutes. And they did.
And they got it.
And they got it. See, parents, bribery works.
Bottom line.
2-2 for Kai Luchar here. 3-1 game in the 5th. Kai runs it full. Her sister on deck as the tying run. And Kai, hoping to give her a chance to tie it, is thrown out by McEnroe-Marinas.
And Nellie McEnroe-Marinas and Gabby Garcia on the left side. They are just so quick. Couple of freshmen. Nellie, a redshirt freshman. Gabby Garcia, a true freshman at shortstop. Holding down the left side.
Patty Gasso is just shifting the outfield defense back. It's now Dayton, Core, and Pickering left to right. Here's a bunt from Kedry, and McEnroe-Marinas aces another test. So Landry gets through the Luchars.
This infield is so fast, and Nellie McEnroe-Marinas, in my opinion, reads a bunt from the left-hand side better than anybody. Not only did she get the good read, the great transfer, and the throw on the run, that was pretty.
Now in this elimination game between 16-seeded Oregon and 2nd-seeded Oklahoma, Sam Landry and Lindsey Grine, the All-American pitchers, have thrown in relief, and all the runs have scored on long balls. Des Patman put the Ducks on top of the 2nd before Isabella Emmerling tied it in the bottom of the inning, and Sanders left the building in the 3rd. Sooners have Sanders on deck after Nellie McEnroe-Marinas. Remember, Oklahoma has won at least one elimination game 3 of the last 4 years at the World Series. They have had to fight through 8 elimination games total during this historic 4-peat. Now 6 of those games came in 2021 when they dropped the opener to James Madison and then dropped game 1 of the Champ Series to Florida State. It's the only time until this year in the run they've had to come out of the losers bracket. Lost semifinal games to UCLA and Florida. It's not their home field, but it is their home, not far away from home, Oklahoma. 36-10 in the last 8 World Series.
Talked about that senior class, and Nellie McEnroe-Marinas just gathered so much information last year in her redshirt year, watching some of the best players to ever play in the OU program, just taking notes, taking it all in, being a part of the national championship, not as an everyday starter, but in a different way that has led her to a captain and one of the best hitters in the lineup here at OU this year in her redshirt year. from Hawaii and actually worked with Jocelyn Alo's dad a little bit too. And believe it or not, she was there in Hawaii when Jocelyn Alo broke the home run record and got to see that happen.
Appropriately decorated number 2. Ball 3-2 to one of the hammering Hawaiians on this Oklahoma team. There's another one a couple of batters away. And Alana Agbayani.
And Patty early on this year said that Nellie McEnroe-Marinas reminds her of Sydney Romero in the Oregon dugout right now on the coaching staff.
Ooh, she tossed the bat aside thinking she had ball 4. Instead, it's the third K for Grind.
It's been a little bit inconsistent, in my opinion, on the inside corner. Sometimes this pitch has been called later in the game, and sometimes it hasn't. But this time, Lindsey Grind benefits from, I'm thinking about a ball off the plate on the inside corner. Nellie thought she walked, but Grind likes that call in the inner half.
Ball. Sid Sanders off the home run in the 3rd inning. The 57th of her career. Last year, Kinsey Hansen said that, number one, Sid Sanders has never had a conversation with Kinsey where she was not laughing and smiling, which not what you see for somebody who's very stoic on the field typically, and also said never gives up an at-bat. Pretty high praise from one of the great leaders maybe we've ever seen in Oklahoma softball, Kinsey Hansen. We have seen Kinsey here this week, by the way, but she's not here tonight. AUSL training camp as the league is 6 days away from opening day. Athletes Unlimited Softball League.
Well, I think because she has such a good eye, she just doesn't panic with 2 strikes. She trusts in her understanding of what the pitch is going to do and her understanding of the strike zone. Makes her a good 2-strike hitter because she doesn't panic and oftentimes chase out of the zone with that good eye. Taking a pitch like that. It's what she did in her last at bat too. Took a rise ball that Grind wanted her to swing at and then hit a home run the next pitch. That was on a changeup.
Even when she doesn't hit, she gets on base. 13 walks over her previous 15 games. And another World Series home run for Sydney Sanders. She's been here 3 times with Oklahoma. Pitch number 7 from Grind, trying to keep the Ducks within arm's reach.
Just makes you work in an at bat because she doesn't hardly ever chase out of the zone. So here we are, and another full count. Her home run came also on a full count.
And it might be another home run on a full count. Rinse and repeat. That was absolutely smoked. And a 2-home run game at the World Series for Sydney Sanders gives the Sooners a 3-run cushion. Wow, what a blast.
She sure did work the count, make Lindsey Grind work. Another full count home run. Look at her just throw her barrel underneath this pitch. Lindsey Grind trying to go right back to the spot that she struck Nellie McEnroe-Marinas out on. A low rise ball, and Sydney Sanders sees a rise ball that is down. Backspin, 68 miles an hour, and is just ready for the inside corner. My goodness, Sydney Sanders, these last two OABs that she have had have just been something sweet to watch.
And that's career home run number 58. Now puts her alone in 5th among active players.
All of her runs in this game have come from home runs. Both teams combined are 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, but a lot of balls leaving the ballpark in this game.
Who needs runners in scoring position when you hit it over the fence?
Still remember the beginning of the year, by the way, that Patty Gasso didn't think that this team was going to be a big home run hitting team. She was focused on their speed. Felt like they had good speed, more than they've had in a long time. And about midway through the year, she said, I don't even recognize how many home runs we're hitting.
And she just tied Shea Knighton, Oklahoma great, and Florida's Brittany Shute with 5 career World Series home runs. And the Sanders clan has a pair. Another multi-home run game at this World Series.
It's good because mom and dad each get one now.
Yes. A World Series that started with a multi-home run game Thursday from Texas's Jolie Mitchell, and then in the next game, Ella Parker hit 2 for OU. (3-2) for Agbayani. Nake will clean it up. We got to see this again because I'm not sure we did see where it landed.
Just a better piece of hitting, too. That changeup that she hit in the one before was left out over the plate. This is a tough pitch to hit out. And the fact, too, she kept an inside pitch about a ball off the plate and kept it fair. And it just kept going and going. Everybody, of course, is trying to get the home run ball and give it to the little kid.
That little girl was just wandering on the ramp by herself.
I know.
Thank goodness I missed her. If you're even in the remote vicinity of left field when Sid Sanders is coming up, be on high alert. 2-0 for Emmerling. And this is one of the reasons why year in and year out, Oklahoma is so tough to beat. They've got 3 home runs today. They've come out of the 8th spot and the 6th spot. They're the first team in the history of Division I softball to hit 100 home runs or more in 6 straight years. And they're now up to 120.
And they've made Lindsey Grind, who entered in relief only in the 3rd inning, throw 81 pitches already, not even through 3 innings.
With this next pitch, she'll be at 5.9 pitches per batter. It's a walk for Emmerling. Well, this Tuesday on ESPN, WNBA action with the Wings and the Storm in Seattle at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. WNBA Countdown Crew tips off our coverage a half hour earlier, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, ESPN, and as always, streaming on the ESPN app. Two teams trying to keep pace with the two undefeated teams in the league. The defending champion Liberty are 7-0. Winning games by an average of 21 points a game. The Oklahoma softball of the WNBA right now. And then the Lynx 6-0 as well. A little low for Abby Dayton, who's grounded out and been hit by a pitch in the 9th spot. Been an unusual game for Oklahoma in a sense. Patty Gasso said after the loss to Texas, the biggest issue that is circled on the paper is 9 runners left on base. And as you've noted, they don't have a hit today with runners in scoring position, 0 for 5. But they've got 2 solo homers and a home run with a runner at first. And so far, that's been more than enough. Which makes this the perfect game for Patty Gasso if they win, because she can say we won and there's still a lot more we can do to improve.
Always trying to find that edge and that extra motivation to get her team where they need to be.
Cassidy Pickering fouled out on the first pitch against Lindsey Grine in the 3rd. The other 14 at-bats against Lindsey Grine have lasted at least 4 pitches. Six of them have lasted at least 7 pitches.
It's like just when she starts to feel a little bit comfortable in an inning or in this game, they have an at bat and just come roaring back.
There goes the pinch runner, Cheney Helton. Little bit of a delayed break and an easy steal. Her 5th in as many tries.
Patty Gasso trying to get every run that she can late in this game. Didn't look like Emma Cox had a great handle on that throw. Right there, she double clutched and then threw across her body where Sinicki had to reach across her body, and she easily gets in there.
That ball's drilled the other way and foul. And retrieved by a fan who will pass off the ball after a toast. Another 7-pitch at bat. Strike 3 from Grine. One more run for Oklahoma. Up by 3 with 6 outs to get. 4 runs tonight, all scored via the long ball.
And 2
from the championship series. It's been a Texas two-step with the 2 2-0 teams from the Longhorn State. Tegan Cavan and Nigel Kennedy, who have thrown every pitch for their respective teams in the first 2 games. Do you expect they'll get the game 1 starts tomorrow, Amanda Scarborough?
I would start them, but that is always the question going into semifinal day where there may be 2 games played. Do you go with your ace in that first game, or do you save her for a potential second? I always like to go with your ace in that first game and try to go 1 and done when you're the undefeated team.
Texas is going to face Tennessee, so you know there will be at least 1 SEC team in the Champ Series. Strike 1 to Riley McCoy on a pitch that almost hit her. On the other side, it'll be the SEC, the Big Ten, or the Big 12, with Texas Tech representing Oklahoma's old conference. So the Ducks probably need something here. They've got 3, 4, 5. McCoy, Sinicki, and Cox against Sam Landry, who has been exceptional in relief. 2 1/3, an infield single, a walk. Couple of strikeouts, 3 groundouts.
And Sam Landry is trying to be efficient here and go at these Oregon hitters coming in relief and trying to throw as few amount of pitches as possible. Only thrown 11 balls, 24 strikes, going right at these hitters, but understanding she's already put in a lot of work on the front end of this tournament and likely to put in a lot of work on the back end. Oklahoma's going to go deep.
McCoy lofts one to center, and Core 0 for 2 with a walk for Riley McCoy. When you get down into these latter innings, you start thinking about the careers of some of the great players in our game. Paige Sinicki's one of them. 193 straight starts at shortstop, over 200 consecutive overall. And this could be it for Paige if Oregon doesn't come back. A Gold Glove winner nationally at shortstop a year ago. Someone who's called her teammates up to the standard, in Missy Lombardi's words, since her freshman year. She's got a unique way to connect with people, Missy said, and find out what makes them tick. And she's a big reason why Lindsey Grine transferred to Oregon. Paige really wore her out trying to get her to Eugene and hosted her on her visit.
And been a huge part of building this program up. Being able to play in their first super regional with Missy Lombardi as their head coach, and then finding a way to get out of a super regional and even be able to host it and host a regional, one of her goals. Means a lot for your program to be able to do that. It means a lot to be able to grab a top 16 seed, and it means that you have great leadership at the top that is determined to get there, and Paige Sinicki is one of those leaders.
In a way, she manifested this. She's big into vision boards. So after last season, she said, I am not leaving Oregon without hosting a regional. She made that happen this year in part to the reminders that she has in her locker, in her backpack, wherever they go.
3-1 bunt. That is an absolute beaut. And Taylor, she may have manifested this from way back when she was about 5 years old. These were her kindergarten goals. She shared this handwritten card with us from kindergarten. Good grades, go to a good college, and a top 10 D1 scholarship. Those are loftier and more specific goals than a lot of us have, like decades after kindergarten. But Paige Sinicki made that vision come true with her hard work.
And I also loved how on the back it said, work hard and be kind. She said those are the 2 things my parents said were non-negotiables. And you talk to her teammates, she's lived up to those as well.
That's a great point, Taylor. She hasn't just worked hard by trampling on others. She has supported others. She's been supported by them. Credits Allie Bunker being a great mentor. Said Allie taught me the ways of being an Oregon Duck. And I think a lot of players on this team will say Paige Sinicki taught them the ways of being an Oregon Duck.
Yeah, you just pass it down. That to also work with former legendary shortstop Nikki Udria when she was on the coaching staff.
Well, Emmerling's going to take time here after Sinicki's bunt single. Paige, a .376 hitter, .474 on base, .657 slugging. The numbers are gaudy, the defense is dazzling, and the leadership has been rock solid from the get-go for Oregon. And her Ducks are not done. This is a team that's faced elimination 4 prior times in this postseason and obviously won all 4. Tied for the most elimination game wins in a postseason in Oregon history. Landry after the meeting in the circle. Throws a terrific changeup. 2-2 for Cox, who has already struck out twice. Make it 3. Sinicki's on the run. And the ball was not caught. So Paige Sinicki has her 32nd steal, but Sam Landry has the 3rd strikeout of Cox.
Went to her changeup and moved that pitch. Even though it was a little bit up, it moved away from Cox, got her to chase it out of the zone, and a good pitch for Sinicki to run on because it was a change of speed, so it gave her a little bit more time to get down there as she kind of dove even on top of the ball and ended up right in front of her.
Throw was right to the perfect side of the bag, but not caught. So Sinicki, who's got the 2nd most steals in the Big Ten, gets to 2nd for Des Patman. She homered for the only Oregon run back in the 2nd. The Ducks just 1 for 6 with runners on base tonight.
And Des Patman has so much power. We saw it in the regional against Stanford with a walk-off home run, and then we see it against OU to dead center field. Pitch up in the zone against Kirsten Deal, who was working a rise ball early, and Patman goes up with a plan and got Oregon on the board first, pulling the energy toward their side.
The senior on 0-2 fouls one away. Ducks were 9 for 17 runners in scoring position the first 2 games of the World Series. 0 for 2 tonight. Both opportunities came in the 3rd. They had 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Kedri Lushar popped into a double play. After a walk, Sinicki struck out. Another 0-2. Struck her out swinging, and Landry slams the door in the 6th.
All 4 of Sam Landry's strikeouts have been on her changeup.
The NCAA Women's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Double elimination day tomorrow. Texas and Texas Tech are a win away from the championship series. 2 teams trying to win it for the first time. Tennessee trying to win for the first time. The only national champion left in the field. The Oklahoma Sooners, who've won 8, including 4 in a row. They'll need to finish this off and then win 2 tomorrow against Nigeria Kennedy's Red Raiders to make it an unprecedented 5-peat. Lindsey Grine against the top of the order here in the 6th. 89 pitches in just 3 innings for the All-American junior. Elise Sokolsky gave up a run in the first 2. Figured Grine would be part of the equation. And it's been more grind than grind. Oklahoma has made her work maybe as hard as she's worked all year in these 3 innings of relief.
And still been locked in with Emma Cox, just staying connected with her and trying to battle against these Oklahoma hitters. And they continue to take pitches like that. That's a pitch that Lindsey Grine wants these hitters to swing at, but they are seeing it start at a certain height, and they just know that it's going to continue to ride out of the strike zone and make her throw something else.
Well spoiled by Pickering. They fouled off 15 2-strike pitches against Lindsey Grine in 3+ innings.
Fine.
Sixth highest scoring team in the country, 2nd best on base, 2nd best slugging percentage.
She won! Yes, she did!
And Pickering strikes out swinging.
And Patty Gasso didn't like that call at all on the check swing, holding her hands up. Lindsey Grine going to a screwball that is low and away, getting Pickering to offer a little bit at it, and Chad Steers goes ahead and makes the call on his own, doesn't even ask for help.
I'm sure Patty's as frustrated as anything that didn't check with the third base umpire, Steve Gould.
Yeah.
So here is Ella Parker. A win here would be Oklahoma's 9th straight win in an elimination game at the World Series, which would be the new longest streak. Currently tied with 3 others. They'll be in sole possession of that. Florida State between 2018 and 2021 won 8 straight elimination games. UCLA did it twice, 88 to 91, 84 to 87. Great out for Parker.
You had mentioned when Paige Sinicki was up at bat how big of a role that Lindsey Grine was going to have on this team, and Paige Sinicki knew it, trying to get her, texting her to come to Oregon. You'd be a great Duck. We want you. You're going to be the missing piece.
Another diving play. Boy, is Jones a good player. That kid's just a freshman. That's hard to believe.
Yeah, she's been good defensively and offensively, just finding all different ways to get on. They talk about her high softball IQ. And you can see that out on defense and in her ABs, throwing from her knees and bringing the energy, trying to fire up her team late in this game, feeding off of Lindsey Grine's energy in the circle.
Hannah Cora's first at bat of the game. Sydney Barker was 0 for 3. Cora, the defensive replacement, takes high. Jones is going to lead off for Oregon in the top of the 7th inning. Number 7 hitter. First, another visit from Emma Cox. Bryant, a junior, and followed Sokolsky, a redshirt junior. So if all goes well, Oregon will have a loaded pitching staff next year, but they are not thinking about next year just yet. A year where they've re-elevated the program. First World Series since Mike White's final year in 2018, before Missy Lombardi took over. Oregon should have some amazing talent coming back next year, but obviously they're going to lose the backbone of their team with the Luchars, Sinicki, Des Patman. There's a 3-0 strike.
A lot of impact freshmen, though, on this team. I mean, it's tons of new talent with the leadership of their senior class is what got them here.
Core gets under it. It's Paige Sinicki. Hoping her teammates can rally here. 7, 8, 9 coming up. The Luchar sisters would be due up 4th and 5th in the inning. The Ducks try to get it to their dynamic duo, but that's who's waiting in the wings. Sam Landry has dazzled all postseason. She's 3 outs away from sending the Sooners to the semis.
just has looked really strong when Oklahoma has needed her the most. Only walked one hitter, the 4 strikeouts, and 2 hits she's given up.
And she's done it on just 50 pitches, breezing through, which could be enormous for tomorrow, when Landry may have to pitch twice. Oklahoma would need to win 2 games against Texas Tech to make it back to the championship series. They've been there every season with a World Series, so that's excluding the short COVID season, since 2019. 2018, the last champ series to not feature Oklahoma. They lost to UCLA in 19. They've won 4 straight titles since. And they're facing an Oregon team that needs 3 to tie. 7, 8, 9. Jones, Maake, and Flannery do up. The Luchar sisters would bat after that. The last Oregon game on Friday, the Ducks gave up 3 in the top of the 7th against Ole Miss. So they'll hope to flip that script. 2-1 for Jones. Strike 2. Teams trailing by 3 or more. Back to 2000, entering the 7th. Not great, Bob. Strike 3. I think we've seen this movie before.
5th strikeout on the change. 3 hitters in a row now that she has struck out, all on the changeup. That pitch is just dazzling tonight. She's throwing it with a ton of confidence here, and her team needs her to step up the most.
Kirsten Deal gave up a run in 2 2/3 as the starter. Landry has gone 3 2/3. Ducks are going to send up Ayanna Shaw as a pinch hitter. Down to the final 2 outs of one of their best seasons. 7th regular season conference title. 19-3 and their first go round through the Big Ten, which was not as difficult a league as the Pac for Oregon and UCLA, but a lot more difficult in terms of the mental and physical toll with Big Ten travel. They aced the league. They won every series. They've won 54 games, 2 shy of the most in Oregon history, but now they have just an out left to play. Katie Flannery, the sophomore. Strike 1. After the loss last night, Patty Gasso said, "I stood in front of these guys today and I said, I've been waiting for this moment to see what this team is truly made of." 1 strike away from finding out an answer she likes. Kylu Shar hoping for another shot. 0-2 for Flannery. We'll wait. Up, we'll do it again.
And that run that Oklahoma answered back with after Oregon scored first in the top of the 2nd inning just was such a big momentum swing, and you felt the swings all throughout this game. Oklahoma creates their own momentum. They pick each other up. They have each other's backs in different ways throughout this elimination game. Like they've just grinded in this game.
1-2 from Landry. Her 61st pitch in a brilliant relief outing is on the way. It's taken well by Flannery.
It starts to get so loud in this stadium with these fans cheering on Oklahoma.
The sophomore trying to keep the careers of some seniors alive. Flannery fights one off foul. He's putting together a good at-bat. Kyler Shar appreciates that. Not much Missy Lombardi can do now. He has taken this team back to the top of softball. One of the final 5 remaining in the game, but they've got 1 strike left. Flannery stays alive by the skin of her teeth.
Good job of just even fouling off that changeup. We haven't seen that tonight. Taking it in this AB too.
And one of the big hits of the season, a 3-run homer in the regional final in the comeback against Stanford. She'll see an 8th pitch from Landry, and she grounds it foul again. Pitch number 9. Landry strikes her out. Oh, you knew they weren't going to go down easy. The Sooners, after a loss yesterday, win their 9th straight elimination game at the World Series, and it will be Oklahoma and Texas Tech in one heck of a primetime display tomorrow night with the championship series on the line. Nine consecutive trips to softball's Final Four for the Oklahoma Sooners. They join Texas, Tennessee, and Texas Tech, and Sam Landry